Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzo, giving a shout out to something else. Something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matano, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Degenerates and reprobates, welcome to episode number 217 of Something Else. Yes, 217, like Buddy Rose's weight, and much like Buddy Rose's weight, we're probably under-exaggerating by like 130 or so. Feast your ear holes in this week's episode as we take a look at both Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from July the 28th, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the charismatic milkshake. It's Trae. Trae,
I'm not even going to question that one. I'm not even going to question that one because I love it. I'm the charismatic milkshake. Let's go.
Just don't say that to Dalton Castle because that's his thing.
Oh, okay. I won't tell him.
Yeah. Dalton Castle was on tonight's monthly AEW Heels thing. And first of all, Dalton Castle is Dalton Castle all the time. Like, Broseph, like he is Dalton Castle. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, now I will have to tell my wife about the charismatic milkshake because that's amazing.
Okay. But I love how we talk about stuff on this show that we talked about on Facebook that we like pay it off here on the show. People don't know what the hell we're talking about. Anyway, I do want to say this quickly before we get into the main points of the show. Want to give a shout out to friend of the show, Rich Palladino, whose amazing voice you hear not just at the beginning of this show, but all around New England independent shows, including Beyond Wrestling Opened every Monday and Thursday now. He lost his father over the weekend.
Oh,
and,
that's
yeah.
I don't know Rich, but yeah.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
When you lose a parent, it's sorry.
Yeah, we're sending him lots of love and positive thoughts, and he's a good guy. And you know, I'm happy that shit is going really well for him professionally because he really deserves it. People like him, Channing Thomas, AG, Anthony Green. Like there's a lot of really good people. I don't want to just say that because people are going to think, oh, you think LMK is an asshole. Like, no, LMK is fucking amazing. But like Channing, Anthony, Rich, they're all killing it and they're all deserving the successes that they are currently getting. Yeah, just want to say that. So Trae, I keep forgetting to mention this. Well, we've had more important things to worry about the past couple of weeks, but it's our birthday month, kind of.
It's my birthday month.
What was that?
It's my birthday month.
Well, it's the podcast's birthday month, kind of.
My birthday month too. It was my birthday month first.
But I guess that's true. This podcast is not age redacted years old. It's only 3, which
I'm more than 3 years old.
It is hard to say when our birthday month actually is because, as I've mentioned before, we recorded the first few shows in July, but I didn't start uploading them until August.
Arya, the date is always a little wrong.
That is very true. The date is always a little wrong. But yeah, happy birthday month to us. Somehow this fucking show has made it 3 years, and we've somehow gone through 3 different eras of it, or errors, depending how you look at it. I had my original co-host for like the first 15 to 20 episodes. Then I had that period of like a year and a half that nobody listened to, that I just did the show myself. And then I dragged two people along with me, and they curse my name every day that I make them watch some really shitty wrestling.
Arya, I love you for making me watch all this shitty wrestling. Never stop. Except that we're gonna have a talk with Ken Mantell.
Oh, hey, I made you watch TNA that one time.
You didn't make me. I agreed. I consented. It was consensual TNA.
I did not TNA assault you.
TN assault.
Sports entertainment assault. What? I don't even remember what episode you had. Do you even remember what
I
was
don't
on that show?
No, early 2003.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it was. I would have needed a new
I
co-host if
remember
Cindy. Mhm.
I remember that we had not that Trinity and not that Athena. Was it not that? Yeah.
Yeah, and if you'd have been watching a few weeks ago, not that Trinity and not that Athena. Actually, no, they did. They did do something together. They
If I bet, I don't know if they ever met in like the Fed or whatever, but if that Athena and that Trinity had a match, that'd probably be a hell of a match.
I bet Naomi and Ember Moon would have been a tremendous fucking match.
I will not refer to her by her slave name,
Which one?
either of them.
Okay. Um, so I know we're obviously primarily a pro wrestling podcast, even though we tend to rant and rave about everything else. But this is pro wrestling adjacent. Did you see the news this morning about UFC's $7.7 billion with a B TV deal with Paramount?
I haven't seen any news in about 3 weeks. What's happening?
Okay, so UFC this morning announced that beginning in 2026, they are not just moving from ESPN to Paramount Plus, but they are getting rid of the pay-per-view model altogether. So
Oh, well,
yeah, yeah, all the
okay.
shows, whether they be the numbered shows or the fight night shows, will be streaming on Paramount Plus, and some of the shows will simulcast on CBS.
How about that? Oh, we're going back to fucking Strike Force days, MMA on CBS.
Now, a couple things I thought about here. One, if the like it was already like you were walking a bit of a line here when you were still calling them numbered shows while doing 8 million fight nights, especially like during that time with like any of the UK shows, UK numbered shows would just air on Spike TV anyway. But now it's like, really, what's the difference between a numbered show and a fight night show? It's like
Well, the numbered show is just the name of the show, so it doesn't really matter.
basically, it's like to kind of give that idea of if this is the premium live event, the numbered show is, Bad Blood and SummerSlam, and the Fight Night show is Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. Okay. When was the ultimate? Because that was when the name got fucked up, and that was like in the first few years. It's all silly. It doesn't matter.
The the first Ultimate was 95, and then they did the second one in 96. And it's funny because
Yeah.
the one in 96 was a lot better, but 95 had all the bigger names.
I saw UFC 5, and then I started watching from like I don't know 2009 to 2012, and I saw some fights that were on like the what was that show that would be on Spike TV where they would air old fights? That show.
You'll UFC Unleashed.
Yes. Yes.
So at our local video store, Black Diamond in Ashland, Pennsylvania, shout out to a store that's not even in business anymore, but still a shout out.
Yeah.
They had in the wrestling section, they would only have WWF tapes, and then one day out of the blue, they had UFC 2 and UFC 4, and we rented those, and I'd say it was our introduction to UFC, quote unquote. But really, our introduction was the 30-second Barker ads on the pay-per-view channels. But
Oh.
that was the first time we saw UFC. And then, because again, how old we were, we could not buy pay-per-view ourselves. And then UFC fell off the face of the earth there for a few years, thanks to John McCain and others. And then basically, I watched every Brock Lesnar fight, some that I actually paid for. I saw every Ronda Rousey fight, none of which I paid for. I watched actually both Chael Anderson Silva fights, neither of which I paid for. And I watched both CM Punk fights, both of which I paid for. And I also, because I had a friend who was a UFC fan, when I taped the UFC 90 with Lesnar and Couture, I made him a copy of it. And then he asked about taping UFC 91, which was like a 3 main event show. I think one of the fights was Forrest and Rampage, or maybe Forrest and Rashad. But either way, and it was Frank Mir and Big Nog, with the winner taking on Brock in the UFC, in what turned out to be UFC 100, the unification fight. And so because he asked me to tape it and he'd pay me half the cost, UFC 91 is another one I paid for.
Okay, listen, I'm sorry but if anyone within the sound of my voice right now has never heard this, you need to go on YouTube right now. Stop the podcast and go watch this and then come back.
I know
There's a clip on
what you're
YouTube.
gonna say.
Forrest Griffin talking about Anderson Silva.
Oh, you weren't even talking about Chael Sonnen and Big Nog.
No, that's amazing too. That's amazing too. But no, okay, there's this fucking amazing video of Forrest Griffin talking about fighting Anderson Silva, and it's amazing.
With Stephen Bonner.
It's like
it was that show where
Forrest Griffin and Anderson Silva. Oh, was it Stephen Bonner? No. Okay. Was he on the podcast? Stephen Bonner's podcast? Okay.
No, he was. Okay, maybe you're talking about a podcast, but I'm thinking about there was a show in like 2012 where the main event got canceled and they needed a last-minute main event, and Anderson Silva agreed to fight and Stephen Bonner agreed to fight, and so they did Anderson Silva versus Stephen Bonner in like the biggest mismatch in modern-day UFC history. But they did a commercial leading up to it where Forrest Griffin was giving Stephen Bonner advice on how to beat Anderson Silva, and everything that he was saying, well, you could try this, they would show clips of Anderson beating the shit out of Forrest Griffin.
Oh, I've never seen that. Oh my God, how have I never seen that?
And then he's like, oh, I'm sure you'll do fine.
Oh, okay. So
that's what I thought you were talking about. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's Forrest on a podcast. And it's like, I don't know, 2009, 2010, and the guy goes, so I heard a rumor that you're fighting John Bones Jones. Can you confirm or deny that? And Forrest goes, I hope I'm not fighting John Bones Jones, but fuck it, if I am, I'll do it, because it can't be worse than Anderson Silva, because anytime I say that, it couldn't be worse than Anderson Silva. And then he goes, what happened? And it's just the flow of this conversation. The guy goes, he hit you in the head. And then Forrest goes, repeatedly. And I was very confused. And he was like, what, did you think you were going to hit me? What a stupid thing to think, you slow white boy. And then he punched me. And I felt embarrassed for even trying to hit him.
I still love
and if you watch that fight, he does. Anderson Silva fucking moves his head out of the way, looks at Forrest Griffin with the most just disdainful look, and just casually paws him in the face and knocks him out.
I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but back in the day when NXT, it had stopped being the reality show and it started being developmental, but before they signed the big names. I think this was before they even signed Sami Zayn, who I think was the first big name to go to NXT. It was the weekend of the Anderson Silva Chris Weidman fight where Anderson fucked around and found out for like the first time ever. And
I'm still sad I had already given up on MMA by then.
Yeah. So Weidman knocks out Anderson Silva. And I was still doing the NXT reports for the Observer site, but because no one gave a fuck, because no one watched the show except for me, and nobody read the fucking reports ever. Like, it was basically like, do it when you get the chance. So I watched it late Saturday night after watching Chris Weidman knock out Anderson Silva, and I swear, I don't know the date. It's July of 2013. You can find it, I'm sure, on Peacock. There's a match between Enzo Amore and Mason Ryan, and the whole match is Enzo Amore dancing around Mason, acting like a jackass, and Mason Ryan knocking him out.
That sounds like a Lulu.
I'm like, and I remember, like, I phrased it something like, UFC steals main event finish from NXT mid-card wrestling. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right. So we've been going for 20 minutes. Do you think it's time to talk about some Mid-South?
I think this might be the first time that I could remember, other than if it was like a Independence Day or a Star Wars, that the wrestling on World Class was better than it was on Mid-South.
Indeed. But this, unless I got my weeks off, and I don't think I do, this is the penultimate JYD episode.
Oh, the penultimate. That's the one before the ultimate.
Yes, it is.
The ultimate.
Yeah. Not quite. I think the ultimate is in 2 weeks. But let's go to the intro of the show with Boyd and the most frightened person on the face of the earth, Joel Watts.
Welcome to this week's edition of Mid-South Wrestling Television Network. I'm your host, Boyd Pearson. We have a lot of exciting action coming up. We have exciting interviews telling you about things that have happened in the past and things to look forward to in the very near future, plus live action in the ring. To tell you about it, our guest commentator, the very knowledgeable young man, Joel Watts. Joel, you've been doing a tremendous job here lately. A lot of the fans have commented, and we're grateful to them for that, and grateful to you for your knowledge.
Thank you very much, Boyd. It's going to be another exciting hour, as Boyd said. And right now we're going to go to ringside with my father, Bill Watts, who has an interview with Hacksaw Butch Reed and Buddy Landell, and he also has a special announcement.
Last week here on Mid-South Wrestling, a match in which Reed and Landell were involved in, it seems like the sport of kings has lowered itself to the sport of hoodlums. You got 2x4s involved, we got steel chairs involved, tennis rackets, and chains and dog collars. It's all there. And I think what happened to Sonny King, and we don't know the extent of his injury, but what has happened to Sonny King is the last straw. I don't know what the next step could be, but that somebody may be critically injured or lose their life here on Mid-South, and we don't want to be a part of that. We'll join last week the closing moments of this tag team battle that turned into a gang war.
Okay, so the intro of the show.
Look,
they didn't tell us a single fucking thing happening on today's show. We're gonna have some exciting action and exciting interviews, and let's go to Bill Watts at ringside.
Look, this is, I need to have a conversation with these bookers because this is getting upsetting.
Anything specifically?
I will go with. Do you want to play the rest of the set? Oh, okay. No, we don't want to talk about that.
Well,
just play the comeback. They show the stupid fucking thing last week where the whole world came to a grinding halt because Sonny King got hit in the fucking arm with a 2x4, couldn't get out of the ring. We had to waste time on this fucking show with that shit too, and then it got even stupider. Arya, please play the next segment.
We spent like 5 minutes recapping that too. Like there was a little in between, but it was like pretty much 5 straight minutes of that. And now let's come back to stern Bill Watts. By the way, I want to ask, like, okay, I understand how he got the 2x4. I understand how he got the chain. And let's be honest, that chair is some random ass chair in the back of the Irish Greendale Boys Club. How did he get Cornette's racket? If this is real, how did Bill Watts get Jim Cornette's racket to come out and do this segment?
He threatened to strip the Midnight Express of the Mid-South. Matchmaker Grizzly Smith, in the worst thing that he's ever done, threatened to, I almost said impeach, strip the Midnight Express of the Mid-South Tag Team Championship if he did not turn over the tennis racket.
Maybe he would have impeached the Midnight Express too. All right, so let's go back now to a very stern Bill Watts, who again is still with Buddy Landell and Butch Reed at ringside with these miscellaneous weapons.
Professional wrestling is a violent sport, and there's not a lot we can do to control that. When you have tacticians and skilled athletes out there, they're going to find ways to shade the rules. But Mid-South is going to make a statement and make it stick. That in the Mid-South area, anybody that brings a 2x4 to the ring, a chain to the ring, a tennis racket to the ring, or a steel chair to the ring, and hit somebody with it, they're going to be fined $10,000. And And since Jim Cornette doesn't seem to be bothered by monetary fines since his mommy helps him out, if Cornette is responsible with a tennis racket, we'll suspend him. But that's just what's going to happen.
Hey, you know what I think is about time you in Mid-South got smart, Bill Watch, understand? Because these idiots that bring these foreign objects to the ring are not real athletes at all, you understand? I'm glad you wised up because we don't do nothing but protect ourselves when that greasy lapdog brings this old rusty chain down to the ring. That old hairy hippie, he always got a 2x4 in his hand. Sonny King, find him too, always bring a steel chair, busted me in the head not too long ago here on TV. And sure enough, you can find that sissy. I don't care with that old tennis racket. It's about time. All we do is protect ourselves. And matter of fact, I would be North American champion right now if it wasn't for these weapons right here that starts my progress. And also, it starts the progress of my main man right here, Buddy Landell.
Your innocence speaks louder than words. I know that you guys.
Hey, Bill Woods. It's not our fault that we kick the daylights out of our opponents, and they get so disgusted that they have to go back in the back and pull out gimmicks like dogs, chairs, or boards. It's not our fault that we come out here. We beat them like dogs. They bring these things out, and we take them away from them, and then we put them out of professional wrestling. That's the price they have to pay.
Well, I want to tell you one thing. You better write this down in your notebook that these 4 items, the next guy that brings them to the ring and uses them on his opponent, it's going to cost him 10 grand.
Hey, great. Because I'm an athlete, he's an athlete. Right. We don't need these things. We take them with the suit moves. You understand? Come here, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after these messages from the sponsors of Mid-South Wrestling.
Can I just say, first of all, Buddy is fucking ripped.
Now, Cornette having different consequences for the same actions because of the circumstances of his birth, that is discrimination, and Mama Cornette should sue.
I mean, Cornette says later, spoiler alert, that there's legal dealings going on here, and he's got a point. It's not his fault that his family has a shit ton of money, and so a $10,000 fine wouldn't mean as much to him. But you know something? That doesn't mean you have to change the rules. And, you know, if that's the game we're going to play, that, okay, Cornette, a $10,000 fine doesn't affect him, so we're going to take away something personal. Well, you need to do the same thing for Duggan and for Dog and for Sonny King. And I like that, like, the only person, it's the heels pointing out that the people mostly using these weapons are baby faces. We mentioned this last week.
I can't wait to hear Big Head start fucking doing Olympic level mental gymnastics the next time Duggan hits somebody with a 2x4.
Plus, and I mean, and you know what's going to happen at some point where, you know, a heel is going to be menacing with a weapon. They're going to be menacing Duggan, and Duggan's going to have his board, and he's going to be like, you know what, motherfucker, I'm going to hit you before you hit me. And Watts is going to have to go there and say, well, you know, Jim, I'm sorry. I know you were just defending yourself, and this sucks, but, you know, we said the rules are rules. We have to fine you $10,000, Jim. I think we discovered the real reason why Junkyard Dog leaves the territory. You know,
I want to leave the territory almost as bad as I want to leave World Class after fucking. Never mind.
There's a few reasons why we could be wanting to leave World Class after this week.
Yeah.
But by the way, did you notice Reed calls Cornette a sissy? Now, do you think that was planting a seed, or was that just whatever?
I think that's just Cornette is such a sissy that even the masculine heels don't respect him.
Well, I mean, even 6 months ago when they did the angle, when they did the second week where they attacked Watts, it was when Watts was attacking Reed, and Reed just threw up his hands and walked away. So it's possible that these are all just little seeds that we are eventually going to water, Because spoiler alert, like I spoiled 5 minutes ago, Dog is about to leave, and we need a new black guy.
Well, I'm sure that Bitch Steed is going to be a babyface soon enough.
Oh yeah, and like this isn't us being racist. This is us reporting Mid-South and reporting.
No,
Bill
this is
Watts's,
history.
Yeah. Bill Watts replaces the black babyface with a new black babyface based purely
Every time.
And this is not us ripping on Butch Reed, because Butch Reed is a very talented man. He cuts great promos, and he like earns and deserves his spot. But he will always replace a black babyface with another black babyface, and the only criteria you have to get a push from him is that you're black.
There you go. That's true.
Yeah. And it's like you can argue if you want whether or not Bill Watts is racist, because again, he made his money with the Junkyard Dog as the top babyface, but money supersedes race. You know, look at the dipshits. Look at the dipshits who run this country that are running around and deporting everybody, you know, who's Hispanic. And then they're like, well, who's going to pick the fields? Who's going to do all these shit jobs that us white people do not want to do? And I say this as a white person who does not want to do hard manual labor. It's like, oh, well, you know, we can let some of them stay and do that work. It's like money supersedes race. You know?
Yeah, that's about as far as Watts's standards go.
All right, so Steve Dr. Death Williams is in the ring before a TV title match, and we'll get to that match in a second here because, you know, it's notable for a number of reasons. But let's go to JR, who is with Dr. Death.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next match will be for the Mid-South television title. Prior to starting that match, however, Steve Dr. Death Williams has requested for us to give him the time to make this statement.
Jim Ross, I should be up here wrestling for the TV champion. I've got the medal. I took it away from Khrushchev, and I beat Terry Taylor. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and I have it.
Well, Doc, whether you have the medal or you don't, Mid-South Wrestling does not recognize you as the champion. Terry Taylor is the television champion.
I should be up here wrestling for the TV champion. I should be wrestling for it. This thing stinks. This whole thing stinks.
Terry Taylor is the television champion, Doc. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You are not recognized by Mid-South as the champion. Terry Taylor's a champion. He's going to defend his belt here in just a few moments, that this medal.
This whole thing stinks. All right. If Terry can beat Khrushchev, I'll give him the medal. But I'm doubtful that he'll beat Khrushchev.
Well, Steve.
Okay. All right, so let's see how this is going to go. Trae would like us to begin using the AI companion here on Zoom, so I can only imagine how this is going to go.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. This is only going into my brain. Don't worry about it.
All right, sounds good. So Dr. Death apparently has been talking to Davis Quinton, saying that possession is 9/10 of the law, and Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, needs Karen Pelly to explain that that's not actually the law.
This show would be better with Karen Pelly, I think, and Davis.
World Class definitely would be better with Karen and Davis.
I think most things would be. Davis is just such a swell guy to have around.
By the way, so we don't forget to bring this up. What the hell happened to Sunshine's aunt?
They finished that loop, I guess.
Apparently. So I was thinking, man, you know who they should bring in is Emma Leroy. But I'm like, oh, they kind of already have an Emma Leroy, but she disappeared.
Huh.
Dr. Death said that if Terry Taylor wins this match, he will give the medal to Terry Taylor. And it's important to listen to what he said. He's going to give the medal to Terry Taylor if Terry Taylor was to win this match, which Dr. Death does not think he can do. And I mean, Terry Taylor is a little bitch, so it's totally believable that he will not defeat Krusher Kruschev. And so that does lead us to our first match. It is the champion of television, Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, versus Krusher Kruschev. We've talked about this on the show. This is like the second, maybe third TV title match we've had since the television tournament for a medal and $10,000 concluded back in April.
Yeah, and this was what it was.
Yeah. So Joel speaks in sound bites, which I guess is better than him going for an hour. We get informed that all TV title matches in arenas have a gimmick where the TV title's on the line for the first 15 minutes and only the first 15 minutes, which is an old school way to fuck the fans where, the babyface wins, but, the time, it was 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So, yeah, the babyface won, but the heel retains the TV title. Too bad, so sad.
Because God forbid he actually fucking booking.
Yep. And, I'm going to WCW for my amazing second book that'll be out October 1st. And we're getting to that point where, like, Lord Steven Regal is in that period where every pay-per-view, he has a TV title match that goes 15 minutes to a 15-minute time limit draw. And I remember, I go back and read the Observer reports, and, Dave is ripping Mr. Regal. Not so much ripping Mr. Regal, but, ripping the matches. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Lord Steven Regal is going to wrestle Ricky Steamboat in a 15-minute match on pay-per-view. How could this possibly not be a 4-star match? And then you watch it, and it's like, okay, Mr. Regal is great. Mr. Steamboat is great. However, Mr. Regal has not found his American style of wrestling yet. And it's not the match that it sounds like it is. We'll just say that. So Khrushchev threw Taylor out of the ring, and somehow referee King Carl Fergie had his back to Terry as Doc posted him before putting him back in the ring. Just a reminder that a face full of ring posts is apparently not worth a $10,000 fine. Again, it makes total sense that JYD is about to leave the territory. This is totally unfair. The post doesn't count as a dangerous foreign object. Taylor rolled Khrushchev off. Doc got up on the apron for some reason, trademark. So when Khrushchev kicked out, Taylor ran over and punched Doc in the yap. Taylor then retained the medal, and I didn't even bother to write down how he retained it. I imagine he hit the 5-arm.
No, he actually, hold on. Breaking news. No, it was not the 5-arm. He did the Jack Briscoe roll out of the corner about 100 times better than Booker T ever did it.
Well, to be fair, it's, you love Booker T, but, that's not a very high bar.
Look, I know Terry Taylor is a little bitch and a fucking stooge, but goddamn, he's smooth.
Yes. So after the match, Doc was a man of his word. He got in the ring, and even though Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, just punched him in the face, he did give Terry the medal. Just not the way you'd expect him to, as Doc hit Terry upside the head with the medal. Just pointing this out, Doc should now be fined $20,000.
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't say a medal.
So
it was a chain, a tennis racket, a chair, or a 2x4.
I guess I didn't mention this earlier. I meant to, but I didn't. It's like, so this means you can hit people with any weapon you want as long as it's not one of those 4 things.
Those are the rules, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, okay, so here's my thing. What if, Jim Duggan, because Jim Duggan at some point is going to hit somebody with a 2x4. We just know it's going to happen. However, this is where I know he's a babyface, and babyfaces just suck it up, but this is where I take it to court. I want that board measured, and if it's not the exact dimensions of a 2x4, if it's 2x5, if it's 3x4, if it's 3x5, I want that fine thrown out because the fine specifically says a 2x4.
Yeah, and I wanted Lanny to be disqualified for doing the moonsault too.
That's probably not going to happen either. especially since he's out of the territory now. And so, keeping in mind my annoyance that I think Doc should be fined $20,000, we come back to Boyd Pierce, ready to fucking rip somebody's head off. And I'm like, okay, he's going to announce that Dr. Death is getting fined for attacking Terry Taylor with a weapon. So let's go to Boyd Pierce and shocked out of his mind that he's got to do this at Joel Watts.
Mid-South Wrestling is so true to other things in life. Not only earlier did Cowboy Bill Watts, the president of Mid-South Sports, lay the law down, a law with teeth in it. There'd be a $10,000 fine for anybody bringing a steel chair, tennis racket, 2x4 to the ring, a chain, and then the very next match, we saw Dr. Death Steve Williams use an item that you would never think of, that gold medal that belongs to the television champion Terry Taylor. He gave it to him all right, but in such a manner that I would have never dreamed of. So it always, somebody's waiting for something just outside the rules, but it is a step in the right direction, and I hope Cowboy Bill Watts will put teeth in everything that's detrimental to our wonderful sport of professional wrestling. Let's go to the ring now. Jim Ross for the next match.
This is a tag team match on Mid-South, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. First of all, introducing the team in the blue corner. From Alabama, Josh Stroud and Mike Jackson. Thank you. That's right. I know I look good. And I know all over TV land you're anticipating what you're going to see next. So I won't disappoint you. The most awesome tag team in wrestling. The Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
All right. So first of all, can you see what I put into the AI chat?
No, it's just raw data. It's just blinking.
Okay. So I wrote, I don't know what made me want to write this, but I wrote "Cash Me Outside." How about that? And AI's response to this, and I'm going to quote verbatim here. I apologize, but I'm not able to engage with or encourage that kind of language or behavior. Is there something specific I can assist you with regarding Zoom meetings, scheduling, or other professional communication needs? I'd be happy to help with any legitimate requests related to those areas.
Arya, my latch into the logarithm is much stronger than yours. Let me handle this. You did your part.
Okay. Well, cash me outside. How about that? So Mid-South is so true to other things in life. What does that mean?
What? I'm sorry?
Mid-South is so true to other things in life.
I don't know. Okay, look. I'm looking at the evidence. I'm just looking at the historical events. Did Dundee go home to Australia for the summer and Ernie Ladd came in to be temporary booker? Because this is bad.
No, because Ernie doesn't put himself over to this degree usually.
I would. Ernie Ladd's amazing.
Yeah, but he's humble enough that he wouldn't put himself over.
That's true. That's the hallmark of a good booker.
Yeah.
Now that was the one. That was the one hallmark of a good booker that Ernie Ladd had.
Bill Watts has installed a law with teeth in it. Teeth, we say. Boyd, when Boyd is mad, Boyd is, something else.
I think a law with teeth in it is a fight.
I was gonna say, I think that's bad. I was waiting for him to say Doc was fine, but nope. And that led to Jim Cornette's intro. And Corny was a very polite young man here. He thanked JR for giving him the mic. He's a very nice man. How could anybody boo that man?
Boo! Boo this man.
Boo! I was talking in the Heels tonight where I forget how it came up, but they mentioned if you've been to an AEW show, they show like the rules before the show that basically the fan code of conduct. And Jim Cornette and Brian Last once got a screenshot or a picture of those, and they proceeded to mock them on the show. And I can honestly tell you, as a transgender person, I'm happy that they announced those fucking rules So at least I can feel safe going to these shows, even if I might be in a strange city or a strange state, like New Jersey, which is just a strange state no matter how often you're in there.
I mean, if you want to go to a wrestling show with dumb bigots, there's this whole other... Anyway, never mind.
Oh, God. So we get the Midnight Express versus Josh Stroud and the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion, Mike Jackson. This was certainly a match.
Yeah, it certainly... Okay, look. It was... Josh Stroud was there, and then... So the Rock and Roll Express are out of the territory for 90 days? I thought that was on the other show. I'm so lost. Okay. All I saw was that as every time they touch, Bobby and Mike Jackson did a fucking tremendous multi-phase high spot.
Because every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I can fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side.
Yep.
Trae knew I was going to start singing by saying that. So, like, he can't even pretend to be mad. But, yeah. The Rock and Roll Express lost a match where allegedly, the losers of the match left town for 90 days. And I say allegedly because they lost it on July 7th in Hammond, Louisiana. Now, it would be something. It would pretty much negate what I'm about to whine about if they just said that recently the Rock and Roll Express lost this match. Because then it takes weirdos like me 41 years later to look it up and go, oh, they lost it on July 7th at Hammond, Louisiana. But no. They said on TV, July 7th at Hammond, Louisiana. Well, if that's the case, they need to be suspended for life from Mid-South because since that time, they have also wrestled twice on July 8th in Monroe and Alexandria, Louisiana. They wrestle on July 14th and again on July 30th. Now, none of these are TV matches, but they are house show matches. You know?
Oh, hey.
These fans
Little Rock
watch
TV.
TV.
Little Rock TV is 5 weeks behind. So we still got...
Well, maybe that's the exception to the rule here. But either way, Little Rock TV is going to hear in 5 weeks about how they lost on July 7th and then wrestled in Little Rock on July 30th.
Was that the same loser leaves town match though? Maybe they are.
No.
No.
This is a completely different match. Now I do have to ask though, do you think they still have the Mr. Wrestling's masks and gear?
Probably. I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah.
You don't think
they stole them fair and square?
We never found out if Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2 ever got them back. Anywho, they do spend most of the next 90 days in Memphis and Florida. So, you know, we really will be without them for a little bit. And then the Midnight Express won with the high-low.
Yeah, except it was like the fucking greatest high-low you ever seen because fucking Bobby jumped like he was trying to decapitate poor Josh Stroud. That was a sling blade. That was a fucking... Somewhere... At some point, Hiroshi Tanahashi borrowed a Midnight Express compilation tape from Gato and saw Bobby Eaton do this move and thought, that looks pretty fucking cool.
I just... I just assumed that Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch did not watch enough tapes.
It's hard to watch enough Bobby Eaton tapes. I'm trying. It's hard.
Yeah. So then, honestly, because Jim Cornette and Hercules were out there, I wonder if they even bothered walking to that. Because our next match is Hercules with Jim Cornette versus Rick McCord. And Jim Ross seems as befuddled by this as I do. Let's go to the intro of this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match on Mid-South Wrestling is one fall with a 10-minute time limit. First of all, in the blue corner, weighing 221 pounds from Salem, Virginia, Rick McCord. And he's fixing to go back there, too. Let me tell you people something. We just proved a little point and we're fixed to prove another one. You say I need the tennis racket to win a match. Well, we just proved right here in this ring. We don't need anything except our own bodies and my mind. But I'm upset about this, and I'm calling my mother's attorneys. There will be a legal way to get my tennis racket back, because I don't appreciate for 1 minute having anything taken away from me. Now, the parade of champions continues. 260 pounds, the most powerful human in the world, Hercules Hernandez.
What the hell happened to Jim Cornette since the last match? He was a very polite, very happy young man introducing the Midnight Express, and then he comes out here minutes later and is pissed off. Like, you
Wouldn't you be
motherfucker,
pissed
how dare
off?
you take my tennis racket?
Wouldn't
Yes,
you
but
be
he wasn't
off
pissed
if you had
off.
to watch Rick McCord wrestle.
Okay, you did not take that in the direction I thought you were going to take it. I mean, we watch Rick McCord wrestle a lot on this show, including he wrestles on World Class too. So we doubled up on Rick McCord this week, and I have to ask though, and I guess there's a reason. Hercules is Jim Cornette's bodyguard more than you wanting to be there for continuity's sake or for teamwork's sake. But why don't the Midnight Express ever stand ringside during Hercules matches and watch him wrestle?
Because Dennis's beer is cold by then.
Or at the very least, stand with their backs to the ring and pose at the camera.
They're not posers. They're fucking wrestlers.
Oh, Lord. So Hercules was taught the Shinnomaki this week. He watched some tapes.
They're still not. He did it better. The actual Shinnomaki was better. The slow referee stop shit still is not. Look, we need to go back in time and find a way. Okay, when we get the time machine, we have to find a way to get Hercules a VHS tape of Kazuchika Okada doing the money clip.
Wouldn't that kind of destroy the time-space continuum?
No, it would create a perfect loop.
A perfect loop, you say? Okay, I'll take your word for it for right now. We'll pin this for later. We'll put a pin in this one for later. Do you have anything else you want to say about this tremendous 4.5-star match?
I literally wrote the finish, and at least the Cobra Clutch was less shitty this week.
It's not the Cobra Clutch, it's the Shinnomaki, which, by the way, neither announcer even attempted to say. I
can say both because I'm good at words. It's also the $1 million dream.
I really wanted to hear Joel try to say Shinnomaki.
I don't think Joel can say Cobra Clutch.
I don't think Joel could say Joel Watts.
But he can make a video, at least one.
Yes, we'll get to that in a minute. Well, about 5 minutes actually. But so then we get our next match, which is Dugan and Dog versus if Dr. D. David Schultz gained 50 pounds of fat, Han Schroeder, and bad Bob Owens. Now, they seem to be very specific at times that Junkyard Dog, Jim Dugan, and Jim Cornette are not allowed to bring this 2x4 chain or tennis racket to the ring. But what if they brought a different 2x4 chain and tennis racket to the ring?
I'm not putting any more layers into this.
Okay. What if they pull a white envelope out of their waist and put it around their hand and punch people with it? Oh wait, that's the other show. So Junkyard Dog pinned Bad with a thumb. So Dog's not even going out. Dog's not even going out of the territory on his back. He's winning matches on his way out, which I guess is actually what happens a lot in Mid-South, even though this, others are on purpose and this one really isn't.
The guys, like, I love you, Tomohiro Ishii, but if you could get tape of this match and watch Jim Duggan headbutt somebody in the face and it looks good and it doesn't look like he smashed his skull, that would be wonderful because I love you and I don't want you to have your brain removed.
Yes, I hear when you get your brain removed and put back in, that's not a good thing.
Eventually, it makes you the World Trios champion.
I guess. I did have to ask who the hell the Trios champions were this week.
You know, I didn't realize until I did it, but the match at All In was their first title defense from like they won them on like March 1st or some shit. And I haven't watched AEW in a few weeks, but I bet they're still the champions.
I'll just say it. Yes, they are.
Okay.
I watched Collision on Saturday. I can confirm that they are still the Trios champions.
Yeah. I will catch up eventually.
Technically, I cannot confirm all three are. I can confirm that one of the three are still the Trios champions. For all I know, there were multiple title changes in the middle there.
Okay, so this is because then this would be more like the Dragon Gate open the Triangle Gate title, and that would be better. Because as much as I love Tony Khan, he is terrible at booking trios titles.
Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. See, I think the trios titles ends up, and it's what makes me worried for this women's tag team titles that everyone keeps asking for, that I guess is going to happen. It's like, it feels like we're doing the trios title because Tony felt forced to do it because everyone kept saying he should do it. And then like he never really had a plan outside of the original like first 6 months maybe. Because like really once the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass won them, they stopped mattering. And
it's so easy though. Like they do. It's I don't understand. He has fucking multi-man tags. He has like 13 multi-man tags on every other show, and then we get a 6-man championship match twice a year. What the fuck?
I mean, when the fuck was the last time Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs defended their titles?
I wish I could fucking tell you.
By the way, Forbidden Door is in 2 weeks, and they barely announced any matches for the show. And I know we're in the middle of G1 season, and I don't know what you know and what you don't know, so I don't want to, spoil anything. But like,
still have not seen past Night 4.
I mean about AEW. I don't know what you know about Forbidden Door and what you don't know. Okay, nothing, so they've announced a couple. They've announced, I think, 2 matches where we know all the people involved in it, and then on Collision there was a challenge for a 3rd match. And I think, okay, there was a on Collision this past week. There's a challenge for a 3rd match, and they announced half of the participants for a 4th match. Which I know sounds really confusing, but when you're trying to explain to somebody without telling them something, you kind of got to go around in circles here.
I did see that Cal Fletcher wants to defend the TNT title against somebody from New Japan.
Okay, so first of all, you know that Kyle Fletcher is the TNT champion, and secondly,
I do, yes, because I saw a picture of him holding the belt with a headline declaring that he had challenged somebody from Tomohiro Ishii. Was it? I don't know.
He beat Ishii. And then he announced that he wants to take on New Japan's Best. And I immediately thought Tanahashi. And one guy in the crowd screamed Tanahashi. And they just left it as an open, we'll find out on Wednesday kind of thing.
Well, that's Tanahashi's last match in the UK, so he should get a good one.
That's tap on wood. I mean, I know you're not watching, but it's like, he's having a rough G1. I don't mean like his matches are bad, but like you can tell all these singles matches are taking a bit of a toll on him.
He's just determined to do it before he hangs it up. He's being Tanahashi.
Yep. By the way, in case you're wondering how long an average Mid-South match lasts, the last 3 matches we talked about, the Midnight Express, the Hercules, and then that should be his name, the Doggin. Dugan and Dog's tag match. I watched all 3 matches during one 15-minute break at work today. So, I mean, should give you an idea of, how fast these things go. We then get a Pretty Young Thing special by the popular Michael Jackson. It's the same one we had last week. Not only was it the same one we had last week, they cut it off mid-Norval Austin sentence again, much like last week.
Yeah, I paid more attention this week and saw that it was a heel promo, and that was a very like you could tell. Like I don't know, it just felt like it. I guess I didn't map it that way until you told me it was, and then it was obvious.
Because to me, it's obvious that it's just a promo that they made and aired in Memphis. You know, because like I don't know, between the graphics, well, the lack of graphics, and it's just like their promo. It's like, yeah, they're in a different territory right here.
Why is Butch Reed the only black wrestler who's allowed to be a heel in this territory? And Ernie Ladd, I guess.
I was gonna say Ernie Ladd's a heel, and he's allegedly black.
He just got back. I forgot.
I don't know, but the PYTs take on Randy Barber and Pat Rose, and it's been a bit since I've said some variation of this. But when Brutus Beefcake is horny, does that make him a Randy Barber?
I thought it made him a horny hairdresser.
There you go. I think this is either Joel or I should have written down who said this, but I think it was Joel. He said, "These two men are so fast I can hardly call their action. What's his excuse the rest of the time?" I wrote at least Bill didn't put Joel in charge of creative. And then Coco pinned Barber with a missile drop kick from the middle rope. And
hey, that was a smooth missile drop kick.
Yeah. And in case you ever want to watch Coco Ware win matches, Mid-South might be the territory for you because he wins. He's probably won more matches in a month here than he does in like 6 years of WWF.
Yeah.
Now it's funny that like Joel said that, even though it's Joel, because I was rewatching the Chris Van Vliet interview with Lance Storm, and Lance talked about how when he was in Smoky Mountain, when Jim Ross was in, and Jim basically said, "You need to slow the fuck down because if you slow down and pause, I can take the time and put you over and talk about how great you are. If you just keep doing moves over and over and over again, it's a big blur of me saying move A, move B, move C, move D, move E." And even though Coco Ware and Norville Austin were not going that fast, that's what I thought of with young Joel Watts here.
Yeah, that's a pretty. It's just he's the enthusiasm of youth. He's not calibrated yet.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna do the Von Erich thing soon.
Why? Why?
Hearing you say, or maybe that's too much to the Von Erich thing. Maybe I need to take a drink every time you say calibrate it.
Okay, look. If you can keep just bouncing precision calibration back at me, we will have that purple Corvette.
The 34 people who listen to this show just went, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
They can all come and have a ride in the Corvette.
I think they all need to be able to like see our Facebook conversations in order to enjoy this conversation more.
I just do this for me. I'm sorry. Nobody listens to this.
No, they don't. So they re-aired the Fantastics video that Joel made. Now, here's the thing. If Joel actually made this, and by all accounts, he does make all the music videos, this is something he's good at. We know that Joel Watts is good at something. Let's have him concentrate on music videos because he does a good job with them. Why are we making him do commentary when he sucks at it? Like, and it's not like, oh, well, we're just going to try Joel out, see how it goes, and, give him a month or two. If it doesn't work, oh, well. Joel's at least here till 86. At least 86.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is he? I don't know. At least 86. We'll see.
Yeah. And in case you don't remember, we're currently in 84.
I remembered that.
Did you notice the new logo? Did you notice that you're going to murder? Did you notice that? No, I'm fucking with you.
There hasn't been a new logo since the last new logo.
That's what we in the business call a callback. So let's go to the final interview of the show with Jim Cornette and a very excitable young Boyd Pierce. Let's go to that now.
Fans, we don't have time for another match this week, but they're trying to sign a Mid-South Tag Team title match next week between the Midnight Express and the Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. What about it, Jim Cornette?
What about it, Boyd Pierce? Have you ever noticed that every time that there's a question around Mid-South Wrestling, you got to come to me to get the answer? Does that tell you something? It tells me that nobody but me knows what's going on. Now, the answer to your question is maybe and maybe not. Because the plain fact of the matter is that old Tight Pockets Grizzly Smith, that cheapskate, is going to have to come up with a whole lot better compensation than he usually does before we'll defend those belts on TV against a couple of guys like that, because they're the ones that bring the boards in the ring. They're the ones that bring the chains in the ring. I got a little dinky tennis racket that never hurt anybody, and they bar me from having it. Legal action is pending on that, but they're the ones that bring those deadly weapons into the ring, so it's going to take a great deal of thought, and it's going to take a great deal of compensation, shall we say, from Grizzly Smith, the matchmaker, before we agree to defend our Mid-South Tag Team titles against a couple of big brutes like that. Does that answer your question?
Okay, no, you didn't give us an answer, but I hope they sign it, because I want to see Hacksaw Duggan and Junkyard Dog against your men. Next week, I hope we'll be able to see it. We will see the NWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Ric Flair. Until then, for ring announcer Jim Ross, our commentator Joel Watts, I'm your host Boyd Pierce saying thank you so much for viewing. We'll see you next week, same channel on Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
Boyd was just he was on during this interview. There is something about him and Jim Cornette that just severely underrated.
The only thing better,
maybe not underrated, but because people don't think about Boyd Pierce as being a good commentator, and so you don't think about Cornette and Boyd, but like they are fucking great.
the only thing better than listening to Jim Cornette talk is watching Boyd Pierce listen to Jim Cornette talk.
It is possible that no one's smarting Boyd up and he still thinks wrestling is real. Oh boy, like that might be the reason why Reeser hasn't been with the goddamn show now in 6 months. Can you imagine Reeser introducing Cornette?
Yeah, amazing.
Honestly, I'm starting to think the last time we saw Reeser was that interview with Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA, where they were sitting in like not a conference room, but like a TV studio stage.
Yeah.
Anyway, how the hell does Junkyard Dog and Jim Duggan get into contention for a tag team title match anyway?
Well, they beat the top contender team of whoever the fuck they beat earlier.
Yeah, they never take on the Rock and Rolls. They've never taken on the Fantastics. They've never taken on the PYTs, but somehow they managed to leap in front of all of them. And lost in the excitement of the potential tag team title match next week, Ric Flair is going to be here on the show next week. And the funny thing is, I think this is the first time they've acknowledged that Ric Flair is the NWA champion again, because they acknowledged that Kerry Von Erich won the title, and I don't think they ever said again that he lost the title.
They did, because they remember all the bullshit about the sumo referee, even though the referee was fucking Joe Higuchi.
But wasn't that on World Class?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed the, I thought we had switched over.
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I'd like to think in World Class they've acknowledged that Kerry has lost the title in the past 2.5 months at this point. Yeah, do you remember how fast time goes? Like, Jesus Christ, we're already, well, I guess we're just finishing July in Mid-South and World Class, but it's like, it just feels like yesterday we were talking about Kerry winning the goddamn belt.
That was like 3 months ago.
Yeah. But we're
Not
getting
even the same
older,
person
you
I was
see,
3 months ago.
for many reasons.
Yeah.
I do want to note that over the weekend I went to P-Town, which, if you're gay, you know what P-Town is. It's Provincetown, Massachusetts. It's on the Cape, and essentially it's like a mecca for gay people. And anyway, the reason why I bring that up here is because I was walking by. I should have went into the store, but like I walked by this one place 3 times, and every time I walked by, they were playing I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra, which famously
Oh
Joel,
my God.
in one of his few misses, Joel played that song on a Magnum TA video.
Yeah.
I did it my way. By the way, Hercules again did what he did best during that last promo. He stood there looking muscular.
He was very muscular.
He was. Um, So we jump over to World Class Championship Wrestling, and I wrote before the intro, I wrote, here's hoping for a WCCW Encore and a Buck Zoom Hoff match in 2 different segments. And technically, we both did and did not get that. And we still watched the whole 46-minute episode. Let's go to the intro here with Bill Mercer.
Championship Wrestling from the world-famous Sportatorium here in Dallas, Texas. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us. And we have a tremendous main event featuring the former World Heavyweight Champion, Kerry Von Erich, and he meets the American and Texas Heavyweight Champion, the happy half-breed Gino Hernandez. As Gino says, the Von Erichs are sissies. In addition to our main event, they've got the Iceman King Parsons, the missing link, and Wild Bill Irwin. All this on World Class Championship Wrestling. And coming up first, the 6-man World Class Championship Tag Team event from the Firecracker event in Fort Worth recently. We'll be back with that right after this.
So Gino thinks the Von Erichs are sissies. Is that why when Cornette comes in, they don't do anything with the Midnights and the Von Erichs? Because Fritz is worried that Cornette might rub off on Kerry and Kevin?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
All right. So we're going to get a tremendous main event. At some point, Gino Hernandez has now become the happy half-breed, not to be confused with the handsome half-breed, which is what he's normally referred to as. And also, we're going to have a bunch of other people wrestling. Doesn't that sound great?
That's true. Yeah. All
right. So we go to our opener, which is technically a world-class encore match, but I watched it, and I don't know if Trey would have watched it otherwise. I'm pretty sure he would have, but just in case, I did tell Trey, while I was watching it, this was a hell of a little match here, and I'd recommended it. It was the Freebirds versus the Von Erichs in a 6-man tag team title match and a Bad Street type of match for the titles from Fort Worth. So one of the things we like to do on this show is point out that drunk Mark Lawrence will do his fucking job no matter what the hell is going on. It's his job to announce the wrestlers in the match, and come hell or high water, he is going to introduce the men in the matches. Well, in Fort Worth, drunk Mark Lawrence does the commentary, and so they have some other guy do the ring announcing. He's the guy that does it when drunk Mark Lawrence is on vacation. So this guy, there is literally a match in progress. Like we have 6 people beating the fuck out of each other. And this guy's like, God damn it, I'm paid to introduce these 6 guys, and I'm going to introduce them whether they want to be introduced or not. So
now, Boyd Pierce, on the other hand, a man after my own heart, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, he would yell, I'm getting out of here. Oh my God. So Mike, we've seen Mike a lot. He's been in here since Thanksgiving, and he's always wrestling people who are roughly his size. I think the biggest person we've seen him wrestle is Michael Hayes, who, while bigger than Mike Von Erich, is not enormous. Well, Mike was in the ring with Terry Gordy. I don't know who the hell decided that Mike and Terry needed to pair off, But Mike and Terry were paired off, and I thought it was Chris Von Erich. Because he was so fucking small that I'm like, why is Chris Von Erich in the ring? And then I'm like, well, Chris Von Erich is like 12 years old at this point. Like, what the hell is he even doing in wrestling? I'm like, oh my God, that's Mike. Like, I know Mike was small, but it's like it never really hit me how small is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, this size difference is just ridiculous. This was a really fun brawl. Not sure if I need to keep seeing these people wrestle, but it was a fun fight. Kevin was bleeding, which is noteworthy because as we talked about, because we've talked on this show before about blading and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and World Class never blades. And this may, and I'm sure Trae will be like, what do you mean? They just bladed 3 weeks ago or something. But like this may be the first blade job in World Class since we've begun watching the damn show.
I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe, probably not. I don't know.
Well, just saying, blading World Class is really rare. Then the finish, Killer Khan ran out and KO'd Kerry, and Michael Hayes got the win. And I'll be honest, I was a little surprised by that, knowing that this feud is about a month away from finally being over. Well, at least finally being over for this week. And so when this match ended, it was 10 minutes into the show, and I'm like, you know what, Ed Trail, see how you feel. This was a hell of a match. I felt good watching the rest of the show after watching this as the appetizer to lead into the rest of the show.
This was a hell of a match, and then the second that they hit the finish, I became suspicious. And then when they played the next segment, I became apoplectic and sent you a DM about Ken Mantell.
Well, so I'll be honest, and I didn't expect what they're about to say just because what other match do they have on this fucking show other than, the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds? I mean, with the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds, then we're going to have Chris Adams versus Jimmy Garvin. That is how the shows get put together. So I figured they're going to wrestle at least 10 more times between now and September 1st. So why the hell, like why wouldn't the Freebirds win here? Because they're just going to lose again the next time. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. Let's now go to a interview that DML had with Kerry Von Erich at the gym.
And now from Kerry Von Erich, his reaction to the six-man world tag team title situation. And his battle coming up with Gino Hernandez. Here's Mark Lawrence.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Lawrence for World Class Championship Wrestling. We're here in Kerry Von Erich's National Health Studio. And Kerry, you've been working out, and it's time to talk a moment about the World Six-Man title again being held up.
That's right, Mark. It is held up again, and it is disgusting. It's got all the brothers up in turmoil right now, and it's not the way it should be. For the people who did see what happened, Khan did interfere in that match. I'm breathing hard right now because I am tired. I have been training here. Khan did interfere in that match, and he threw a chop right into my throat. I went down, and I was pinned 1, 2, 3. I guess that's why I'm the hottest of the brothers, because I am the one that lost the match.
And, of course, if you're hot, that means big thing will happen in the rematch.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Khan, you and me now have a score to settle together. Now, what you did to my brother Kevin is one thing. You almost put him out of wrestling for good. Well, now, baby, you got little brother, the little brother of the Von Erichs. And I'll tell you what, I'm training harder right now than I ever trained in my life. And, Khan, I'm coming at you, fist and fire, and I'm going to tear you apart, boy.
Okay, Kerry, one more thing. In light of all of the events of recent weeks, your attention also has to be on Gino Hernandez.
Gino Hernandez is a big-mouth, egotistical pig is what he is. Gino Hernandez, I don't know, okay, all right. So Gino Hernandez is a wealthy man. He flies around in Learjet. So he drives limousines. He lives in high-rises. Gino, while all those women are kissing all over you, I'm in the gym here training. I'm getting ready for our fight. And so Hernandez, if you don't start getting ready, I'll tell you what, brother, this will be the last time the last time you ever have a wrestling match in your life, because it'll be up against me, brother. And I'm coming full speed to get you. One more thing I want to talk about. This thing with the Freebirds is not over yet. The next time we've got you in the ring, Freebirds, will be the last time, because we'll finish you off once and for all.
Kerry Von Erich, getting ready.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I will say that we have a history of them doing this. Do you remember when they kept holding up the American title or the Texas title like 5 times when Jimmy Garvin and David Von Erich were wrestling for it? Because every time they screwed over David Von Erich, they would just strip Jimmy Garvin of the belt and hold it up again and say that, you know, the next time will determine the real champion. It's like, that's basically what's fucking happening here.
Yeah, it is.
And like, apparently in a no disqualification, anything goes, come as you are, everybody allowed in the ring at the same time match, you cannot have outside interference. Where is that guy who was on here like a month ago? Where is the Jack Tunney of world class?
Just fucking do it. God damn it. I hate this. I hate this shit. Maybe Kid Mantel was Tony Khan's model for booking 6-man tag titles.
I don't know, because at least Tony Khan occasionally lets more than 2 teams challenge for them. It might take a year to have a title match, but at least, you know, we don't have the same 2 teams wrestling each other for the belts for 3 years.
Yeah.
By the way, and if I didn't keep saying that this feud's going to end on Labor Day 1984, would you believe at all when Kerry says the next match is going to be their last match?
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Exactly. It'd be like hearing that Chris Adams and Jimmy Garvin are never going to wrestle again. It's like, sure they're not.
Yeah.
All right. He also says that Gino Hernandez drives limousines. That might explain how Gino affords his luxury cars and living in a high-rise if he has a second job.
Oh, Gino does have a second job.
What's his second job?
The one that kills him.
Okay, then. A different kind of nose job.
Yeah, that nose job.
Kerry also called himself hot, which, I mean, I've been accused of having a giant ego, but even I don't go around calling myself hot.
You're hot,
all
Arya.
right, so
You're fucking amazing.
Oh, I know. So we go to the ring for our first actual match. It's Max with General Skandor Akbar versus Rick McCord. Yes, that Rick McCord. Now, do you remember like an hour ago at this point when I said that, you know, I watched 3 Mid-South matches in 15 minutes during my break? I had 6 minutes left in my lunch break when this match began, and I did not even try because I'm like, just knowing how Kim Mantell books, I was half convinced this match was going to go 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, no.
Good news, it did not go 9:50. And Max whammed Rick in the midsection for the win.
I regret to inform you that Max is now so bad that he's good.
I'm sorry. So do you think Hercules warmed up Rick McCord for Max, or did Max warm up Rick McCord for Hercules?
I think Rick McCord was left in the dryer too long before he got here.
Okay. Then we got Bill Irwin with General Skandor Akbar and Scott Hall Irwin versus Iceman King Parsons with a pedophile. Now, here's a question. when Bill and Scott lost their masks, why did they have to go back to being the Irwins? Like, why couldn't they just keep the Super Destroyer gimmick, just not wearing the masks? Instead,
Why did they come in
now
wearing masks instead of just being the Irwins?
Well, because Bill didn't like being called Chauncey. That's literally like the best idea I can come up with, just because in world-class lore, his real name is Chauncey, and he doesn't like when the fans chant Chauncey at him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that's the best I can. I don't even know. I wish Bill Irwin was still alive so someone could ask him, where the hell did Chauncey come from? Because they were doing that when Gary Hart was booking. So I don't even like, oh, well, Ken Mantell had a dumb idea. It's like, he's been Chauncey on this show for years. And no one seems to know where the hell Chauncey came from.
I sure the fuck don't.
Maybe I need to ask Lance, what's his last name? Peterson on Twitter. SMU heavyweight, that guy. He posts a lot of world-class pictures because he went to all the shows back in the day. Maybe he knows why we've got the, Bill Irwin.
Let's get him on the show.
Thing.
Get him on the show.
He probably has better shit to do.
Nah. I don't. I do, but I don't. I wouldn't be wanting doing anything but this.
So they announced that they're going to have a show at the gateway city to the West, El Paso, Texas. Who the fuck has ever called El Paso the gateway city to the West?
Because St. Louis is the gateway to the West.
Yes. Because when they started talking about we're going to the gateway city of the West, I'm like, man, they're going to St. Louis? That's wacky. El Paso, Texas. I'm like, that
if
is
you've been
not
El Paso, look, if you're in El Paso, you've been out west for a long time. El Paso ain't even Texas. That's New Mexico.
Well, I don't know what the hell got into Bill because he said it a couple times. Anyway, Iceman won a very long match with she calls that the rear view. The match was fine. Yeah. It's like, it's your standard world-class fare. It's the mid-card match that went way too long, but because what other match are you going to give time to? This match got 10 minutes. Or however long it really got, but it felt like it went 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know because they didn't ring the bell.
So after the match, the Irwins began attacking a man that sexually assaulted children and hit him and whipped him with their whip. And thus, Bill and Scott Irwin have become the top baby faces in the territory. And then Iceman made the save, making him the biggest heel in the territory.
That is exactly what I wrote.
Interesting. Did you write the part about whipping a man who sexually assaulted children?
I wrote Bill Irwin turned babyface by whipping Bug Zumhoff, that Iceman turned heel by stopping him.
There you go. Your champion, Gino Hernandez, was out for the main event against, to quote Drunk Mark Lawrence, former world champion, Kerry Von Erich. I don't know why he whispered former world champion. Like maybe he thought if I say it quick enough, people won't react or people won't think about it. And just if I scream Kerry Von Erich, it'll supersede the Kerry lost the world title in 2 weeks thing.
Yeah.
So this match, they gave these guys some time. Like I don't know how long the last match really went. This match really got over 10 minutes. And
the Gino match?
Yeah.
11 minutes, 22 seconds. It was very good. Gino has breathed life into the show. Oh my God. This is the Gino Hernandez show now.
Yes. And I don't know, like, I didn't really write a whole lot about this because there wasn't a whole lot to write about. Just that Gino Hernandez is the best thing on this show by far.
Yes.
And it's not even close at this point. especially since Stella May has apparently disappeared. Maybe she went to the same psych unit that that Sunshine went to.
I guess so. Must have.
So the finish, and I'm sure it'll be like, oh, Gino pushed him into it, but Kerry was running towards the ropes, and David Manning Von Erich was standing there, did not get out of the way, and Kerry ran into him. He had plenty of time and plenty of space to quickly sidestep and avoid the 250-pound, very muscular young man, Kerry Von Erich, running into him.
Kerry looks like the greatest fucking wrestler in the world when he has a really smooth heel who can bump and feed and sell. And Gino just makes Kerry look amazing.
Well, Gino then pulled out an envelope and wrapped it around his hand and punched Kerry in the face with it. And I think we were supposed to believe it was brass knucks, but nothing has ever looked less like brass knucks in the history of brass knucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a piece of paper. I used to, like, when I was in, like, 7th grade, me and my friends started, like, when we were bored during class, we would make, like, wrestling belts as, like, out of paper and wear them around our wrist. That's what this looked like, except it was around his fist.
We up until they started putting, like, title belts with the action figures, we would cut title belts out of paper for our action figures.
Yeah, I used to make mine in, paint and print them out and put them on my wrestlers.
We did not have a computer, much less Microsoft Paint or a printer.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'm a little younger, and I didn't have wrestling figures until like 99, 2000 either.
I guess that's a lie, because technically the WCW Galoob figures came with title belts. So, but it's like they didn't count. I'm sorry, they did not count. Anyway, Gino wins with the slip of paper. And we then find out that next week it's going to be Kevin versus Khan, and a tremendous tag team event with Mike and Chris Adams versus Michael and Buddy. That does sound tremendous.
That does, yeah. That sounds like a Lulu.
A real Lulu here next week on World Class. Maybe they could get Bob Caudle to come in next week.
Hopefully, no reason, I would love to see Bob Caudle.
For no reason other than to just, make two people pop 41 years later. Have Bob Caudle come in and announce that it's going to be a Lulu. Okay, so maybe, oh my God, here's a dream combo to run down next week's show. You have Don West come in and do the TNA hype job that he would do, and then have Bob on the side going, oh, that's going to be a Lulu.
Yeah.
I might be the only person to pop for that one. So Bret Hart isn't happy. Some people out there might say, oh, is the sky blue?
What else is...
No, the sky's actually dark as the sun is down. But Bret is upset. He was apparently on something called the Being the Elite podcast. I don't know if that's actually an AEW podcast or just somebody taking the name. But Bret Hart revealed that he was invited to SummerSlam to be one of those people who sit in the crowd and they show before a big match. And then he flew there, and then they told him they didn't have a seat for him.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, remember earlier this year at WrestleMania when they introduced him in Austin, and Triple H went by, shook everyone's hand, and Bret gave him like the side eye look.
Shout out to Bret for that, and I'm sure Julia Hart, wherever she is now, was at least happy to see that. That was the best part of Beyond the Mat.
Well, it wasn't Beyond the Mat for one. It was Wrestling with Shadows.
Oh,
but
same thing.
You realize
what the fuck is the difference?
It was not the same thing. But
yes,
do you
it
realize
is.
how
Shut
many
up.
fucking people? No. Do you realize how many fucking people, including me, heard you say Julia Hart and were like, "Why is Julia Hart give two fucks
Oh
about
fuck!
this?"
What is her name?
No, it's
Brett's
Julia.
wife.
It's Julia. Yeah, it's Julia Hart. But it's like
Oh, it
that's not.
is.
Yeah,
Oh, they
that's
are
not
the
who you
same
think
name.
of when you hear Julia Hart.
No. Oh, you're right. I forgot.
Oh, how Bret Hart made Julia Hart feel good. Oh my God, we're gonna get sued for that.
Why? We just said that there
No,
were two Julia Harts.
No, just me writing how Bret Hart made Julia Hart happy.
Well, I hope he made her happy at least a few times. They were married a long time.
I should take out every reference to them being married and just you talking about, I hope he made Julia Hart happy. And everyone thinking you're talking about the 22-year-old former TBS champion.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Instead,
young
we're talking.
people.
We're sorry, Big Shot Lee Johnson. We are not inferring
Not your
that
wife.
Bret Hart. Yes.
No. Although he probably could. Never mind.
Don't. We're getting sued for a number of reasons. We don't need to be sued for that too. If anyone ever listens to this show, we're gonna get sued. But since somebody listens to it, we're pretty good.
Yeah, we're copacetic.
Yeah. Fuck's sake, we can talk about whatever we want. Man, that Hitler was a hell of a chap, wasn't he?
He was somebody.
Of all the people named Hitler, he was certainly one of them.
The main one, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, Adolf isn't even necessarily a bad sounding name, but you can't name anyone Adolf.
Yeah.
You know?
That son of a bitch ruined that mustache for everybody.
Yeah. Like, you can't name your baby Saddam either. Or Osama. Unless you're Armando Alejandro Estrada in OVW, you cannot be named Osama.
Huh.
By the way, today in wrestling history, August 12th, a whole bunch of G1s, well, I guess not really a whole bunch, at least two G1s ended this day in history on August 12th. In 1992, Masa Chono won, becoming the NWA champion.
That was a great match.
Then, yep. Can you take a wild guess? And I'll be honest, I think you'll probably guess it. Take a wild guess. What are the other two G1s to have ended on August 12th?
2012?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to throw something at you. I can't fucking believe you got that.
That was Okada and Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson still hasn't shut up about it.
Yes.
The other one, give me a hint.
They 2 years later, they have an IWGP title match at the Tokyo Dome. And it's a big okay, when I say it's a big deal, it's a big deal. It's a big story deal that 2 years later they have an IWGP title match at the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, I bet I can think of it by the time we finish, maybe. No, we're finished. Fuck, I don't remember. Yeah. What is it?
What 2019. Decade? 2019, Kota Ibushi over JYD.
Oh my God, duh. That's like one of the fucking... That whole... One of these days, I want to write just an analysis about Kota Ibushi's arc from losing the 2018 G1 final to Tanahashi to, when beating Jay White at night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 15 is a really just amazing story.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then 8 months or so later, he does a Firebird splash and separates his shoulder.
And never the same again.
And here's another interesting mid-2010s tidbit. This day on 2016 was I don't say the famous match, but the match where Vader took on Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
That was set up when that Will Ospreay Ricochet spot became famous, and Vader decided to be a dick on Twitter, and then Vader decided to not put Ospreay over, which also ended up being Vader's last match. It wasn't like, oh, I want to set it up for a rematch or some shit like that.
That's probably whatever.
Yeah.
It's you know what, Will Ospreay is fine.
By the way, August 12th has had some good shit. 2005 was when James Gibson won the ROH title over Punk, Daniels, and Samoa Joe in an elimination match.
That was awesome too.
2006 was ROH Unified with Danielson, that damn clam digger Danielson defeating Nigel McGuinness to merge the world and pure titles. You know what's funny though, and it's like this was one of those I'm a bit of a smart mark too early kind of things. I did not like. To me, Nigel McGuinness was not at the level of Bryan Danielson, and also it was pretty obvious they were holding off for Homicide to beat Danielson. So it's like, I'm like, I don't care how good that match is. Bryan Danielson is winning. It's kind of obvious. And it's like, I just didn't.
Well,
I didn't appreciate it as much as I would even a couple years later.
No, that match was fucking tremendous.
Yep. And apparently, oh yeah, the TNA Hard Justice pay-per-view when Kurt Angle won every title in TNA, when they that was when they did the storyline that Karen was leaving Kurt for the guy that rapped John Cena's theme song. And then it's a swerve, bro. Karen helped Angle beat Joe.
I didn't even remember the part with Karen and whoever the fuck. I do remember the fucking all the belts.
Yeah. But yeah. The site that I'm reading this from, tjrwrestling.net, also says that show had an excellent triple threat tag match. It doesn't say who was in the excellent triple threat tag match, just that there was an excellent triple threat tag match. And I mean, I'm just guessing it's 2007, so it's probably some combination of the Motor City Machine Guns, LAX, let's see, it wasn't Beer Money because Rude and Storm are in different matches. Maybe the Rock and Rave Infection.
The fucking Rave Infection! All-time terrible fucking name.
Yeah. A terrible name, I don't want to say a terrible gimmick, because it wasn't a terrible gimmick. It was a fun gimmick for... I don't want to say terrible because they weren't terrible, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they were terrible in a good way. It was Lance Hoyt, Lance Archer, and Jimmy Rave with Christy Hemme.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with our stroll down memory lane. I'm just laughing how Bret Hart made Julia Hart happy. Not a lie, but also like when I said that I met John Cena, incredibly misleading. Because it's not what you think happened. Anywho, I gotta press stop, edit this, and throw it up onto the YouTubes. So we're gonna call it a night.
Night.
All right. Anything else you want to say before we go?
The Oh My God cast will be back someday, and we will be back tomorrow or Thursday, I assume.
Oh, did you say someday or Sunday?
Someday, not this week, but it will be back. It's just I'm on a trail right now.
Sounds good. All right. Until then, thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.